So, you want to bag your Honda HR-V. Hello and welcome to a new video, guys. And yes, as you may notice, this is a different studio. We're actually at Cebu right now in our Bagged in Cebu series. We have an HR-V here, bag slammed to the floor under our Bagged in Cebu series. Actually, if you want to watch that adventure that we did, please check the link below or the playlist that will be linking down below. And big shout out nga pala sa Supreme Auto Tint and M-Tech for the studio, the space that we're shooting this. We'll talk about that later. But for now, we have a Honda HR-V in the studio right now behind us, and it's done on air suspension. This is our first HR-V, and as you guessed it, is going to be in our catalog. So big shout out nga pala kay Boss Barry. He's in front of me. He's the owner of the car. Also big shout out kay Ralph, the owner of the BRZ. Without them, this would have been not possible to happen. So nonetheless, we're going to talk about the car. The Honda HR-V is very similar to a Jazz, a Honda City. They share some of the parts, but the quirky thing is that this is actually a 5-lug version of those cars. So if you're looking for a 5-lug conversion kit, you should look into the HR-V. You can actually slap it on your Honda Jazz and Honda City. Nonetheless, we're going to talk about the under chassis of this car. We're not going to talk about those stuff on this video. Okay? Please lend me your ears, sharpen your thinking hats, and if you want to know more about that, please like and share the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell icon for the notification as we dive into the under chassis part of this car. And let's go. Let's discuss kung ano bang meron sa ilalim ng kotseng ito. I'll see you there in a bit. Alright, hello and welcome to the front suspension of the Honda HR-V. This is actually a coilover conversion setup and is actually a D2 Racing coilovers. Okay, right out of the bat, this is a McPherson type strut, as almost all economic cars are equipped with this type of suspension. Recap lang ulit tayo. McPherson type strut are pivoting strut. The shocks itself pivot from this axis. So it rotates. Umiikot siya. Pumipihit in Tagalog. Okay? We're just checking the clearances of the bag on the back side. Maluwag naman yung clearance sa likod, as we checked a while ago. Okay? Something to note lang sa HR-V is that it's actually a Honda Jazz na suspension and Honda City. Kailangan nyo lang tandaan na i-route yung mga hose lines nyo along with the brake line because that gives you a slack na katulad ng OEM, or OEM talaga yung slack niya. So you won't have problems when the steering wheel is turning. Okay? Moderate naman yung space na ibinigay sa atin ng ating Honda HR-V. Nonetheless, sinagad namin din yung aming adjustments for the coilovers. Ibig sabihin, yung height niya is hampered or compromised because the client actually wanted a very, very low drop for this HR-V. Although it's a crossover, don't be surprised, but that's how it is. Okay? Stands life. Okay? Now, final check lang tayo. There's nothing much to discuss. Very basic yung suspension sa unahan. Okay? We just had to replace a bit of parts on this car kasi nga medyo rough siya. Okay? So, that is going to be it for the front side suspension of the car. Let's actually move to the rear side of the suspension where we discuss other standard looking suspension for the Honda HR-V. Okay? Welcome to the rear side suspension of the Honda HR-V. As you have noticed, it's a divorce suspension layout with a torsion beam rear suspension setup. It's actually very similar to the Honda Jazz, which is actually a Honda Jazz, Honda City layout. Ang pinagkaibahan lang talaga nito is that it's actually a 5-lug version of those cars. So that's something interesting to see. We're going to check the clearances ng bag just to make sure because we are in Cebu. Wala namang pinalo dito. We have a good amount of space sa likod ng kotse and the bags itself. Sentro lang siya. That's our term. Ibig sabihin nun, we did not have to offset the plates. Okay? We're actually using a standard slim double bellow bags for this car. And yes, coilovers pa rin siya. So meron siyang shock adjustments on this side. Suspension is pretty straightforward and there's nothing much to say. Okay? This is just a final checking, an ocular inspection. If you have a Honda HR-V, this will be your guide for air suspensions. Hope it helped. Let's actually drop the car and let's see the rear side of the car for the layout, okay, the pedestal, the system layout, and we're going to discuss kung anong pinili ng client for this car. Hello and welcome to the trunk layout or the rear hatch layout of the HR-V. we actually have a very, very peculiar setup. As you can see, I'm on the top view, as you would see it naturally. And let me discuss sa inyo yung kinuha ng client. This is actually an Endo VT. Endo VT means valve tank combo. The valves are actually the cheeks of the tank. The reason why the client wanted this setup is to have a more sleek design, sleek looking design, but still he actually opted for two external compressors, Air 444C. This actually, the only reason na, one of the reasons na kinuha niya tong Endo VT is that you can get a drain kit. Since nasa Cebu siya, you have a drain kit to drain the tank on the side like this. So you can actually bleed out the moisture with a hose. So this is his drain kit. And that was the selling point for him kasi syempre malayo. He wants a DIY maintenance procedure. But nonetheless, we will be expanding to Cebu anytime soon. So that is not going to be a problem. This guy is actually sporting a Fitment engineering management system na 3rd generation. So it means that there's no more pressure switch. You can actually control it like airlift performance. You can set the max pressure, minimum pressure, whatever you want. It has low voltage protection. So, yun. For the layout naman, yes, he had to sacrifice his spare tire because he prioritizes the space. Plus, it's a hatchback, meaning kung yan ay nasa taas, it's gonna blast the compressors on their ears and it's gonna deafen them out. That is the rear layout of this car. There's nothing much to discuss. Wala naman tayo na hamper na space. Yung spare tire lang yung nag-sacrifice ng space para sa location natin. But that's going to be it for the rear hatch layout of this car. Let's actually discuss more about this car on the outro of the video as we conclude. Okay? The So You Want to Bag Your HRV video. Let's see you there in a bit. Welcome back to the video. We actually discussed with you in the video the under chassis of the car. A quick recap lang. The front is actually a McPherson type strut. Ano ulit ang McPherson type strut? The McPherson type strut is a pivoting strut sa unahan. Umiikot siya like that. That's actually a hazard for air suspensions, as we discussed kanina. And then of course, the rear is actually a torsion beam rear suspension, not independent but divorced. Okay, ibig sabihin isang beam lang siyang ganun. And then when the other side bounces, the other side bounces. But, okay, the Honda HR-V. Is it a good stance car? As you can see, I honestly did not expect the potential for this car, okay? I'm gonna go out of frame for a bit so you can actually appreciate the car. So, the reason why sinabi ko yun kasi, of course, this is a crossover. Hindi mo siya usually nakikita nakaganto, or you wouldn't think that it's gonna drop this low, but I was so wrong. The car really dropped really low. So, of course, before we discuss anything else, let's actually show you the vehicle dynamics. Of course, the reason why we were able to pull this off, as you saw in the under chassis video, is because naka-coil over siya. Okay? If I want to say something about this current setup, it's like a Jazz. Parang nilagay namin yung height configuration ng Jazz sa crossover na ito. Talagang literal na ganito rin yung ginagawa namin sa ibang Jazz na naka-coilovers, like the red Mugen one that we did, the white one that we recently released. So it's a Honda Jazz out of all of that. And I also said kanina, they actually share some parts. But, okay, i-elaborate ko, 4 lugs ang mga Jazz City. If you want to convert to a 5-lug wheel, this baby is on 5 lugs. You can put the 5-lug hubs onto the Jazz, and now you have a 5-lug OEM conversion for your Jazz and City. I actually just figured that out. Let's actually slam the car real quick. So, may papakita ko sa inyo, when we drop the car, it's actually popping the OEM fenders pa. So, he has to do some fitment work for this car. And that's fine, okay? Although, yes, we're in Cebu, we won't be able to assist him on that. That is something we can do down the road. So, it is actually advised to pull the fenders on the front and the rear, but, okay, but, plastic fenders to with a metal underbody sa ilalim. So that's going to be a challenge for this owner. I'm excited to see what you can do for this, but he said it's cakewalk lang, so let's see. Nonetheless, is the HR-V worthy car for stance? Actually, I think yes, because this is the first, nga ba? Dare I say this is the first HR-V that is bagged in the Philippines. I have yet to see another HR-V on bags with this modern setup, but correct me if I'm wrong, but there you have it. I know there is not much time to discuss. If you want to know more about this car, join us or watch us transform this car from stock to bagged in just a few days here in Cebu, giving it the fitment treatment that it should have, or it should really have. So if you're from Cebu, let us know. We can do cars here now, thankfully. With the help of Supreme Auto Tint and MTech, salamat sa inyo, Boss Vince and Sir Miles. Of course, Boss Barry, and all the other business owners that I met here today or in this week. So, you want to bag your HRV. This is how. Do you have an HRV? Everything's laid out na. Wala ka nang iisipin. We've done it. And you're very lucky that we have this catalog. Something similar for this naman, you can take Toyota Rush. Same size, di ba? So, what are your thoughts? Okay? But before that, please like and share the video. Subscribe to the channel. Let me know your thoughts down below, okay? Hit the bell icon for the notification. And that is all the time we got for today, okay? So you want to bag your car. What's next? I don't know. But it's been Cal from Fitment Engineering, and you're watching Fitment TV. I'll see you guys in the next episode. Maraming salamat nga pala sa mga host natin dito, sa mga patron natin, sa mga tropa natin, sa mga naging kaibigan natin here at Cebu. I want to shout out everyone as I might be staying here or coming back, okay? Most of the time, or frequently is the right word. So until then, see you all out there. Thank you so much.